Josh, the way the offense, scoring 10 goals in those two games, is that what you think this team is very capable of consistently throughout this season?
Well, I think we've been, working on trying to establish an offensive identity. I don't really think it's there yet, but I think that it's starting to get there, and I think, we have the ability to score. If we don't get to the net, we don't get to traffic areas, then we can also have difficulty scoring.
You generated in the first three games, you almost had 40 shots against Army West Point. You had over 40 in both games against Mercyhurst. The fact that they were generating those chances, how big was that to see that they're generating those opportunities?
Yeah, we're trying to have a shooting mentality and making sure we get to the net. We gotta work on making sure we have someone taking the goalie's eyes away. It's not having a lot of shots but having no traffic is not always the best thing. So but excited that we're getting pucks to the net, and that's the first step of it.
Yeah, after a game against Army where you didn't quite finish the way you wanted to put 10 goals up during the weekend, how much confidence does that give the group?
Well, I think it, for us is an area that we know we have to be better at, and to take a really good step this past weekend was encouraging. Now we're going to see a team in Niagara that defends really hard and protects the front of their net, similar to Army. So we're going to have to make sure we get there.
There was a couple of contrasting games. You guys virtually dominated that first game on Friday night, and then you stumble out of the gates for first period and then the first few minutes of the second period. The way they came back, there didn't seem any panic on there. I know we talked about things were not probably good in the locker room after the first period that night, but this it's only 3 games in, but to see this team not panic the way they did, they're able to keep at it. How important is that down the road?
Yeah, I think it says a lot about our leadership that the guys were able to go into the locker room and regroup and not hit the panic button. They stuck to what's worked with us and or worked for us, and credit to our leadership group.
How important was it for Brendan Miles to finally score a goal?
Yeah, I think that was, it's an exciting one for a guy who's put a lot of work in to finally get his first, collegiate goal, and it was a really nice one as well.
You had Lucas get a couple goals Friday night. You had Brandon with 3 over the weekend, and he ends up being named forward of the week in the ECAC hockey. Did you think that there was a good enough balance over the weekend with the scoring?
I think so, and I think when you look at it, we still have guys that we expect are going to score in bunches for us this year that haven't got there first. So I think it's encouraging when you get other guys stepping up, but it's exciting to know that you got guys like Ben Muthersbach, Colby MacArthur, Nate Hanley, like they're all going to score. We know that's going to come. It's just a matter of them getting there, getting on the score sheet.
Coach, you talk about wanting to find that offensive identity. What do you guys have to do against Niagara this weekend to take those steps towards that?
Well, I think it's continuing to possess the puck. It's continuing to have someone in front of the net, and then just supporting each other and working away from the puck. I thought we made a huge improvement there. I thought guys were working to space instead of waiting for the puck to move. They were getting there early, and when you have extra time, you're able to make more plays.
Does the 8 o'clock start both nights affect you guys at all?
I think it's going to affect both teams. It's a little different. It's just, something that everybody's going to have to get used to. But if you want to play, later in the season and in playoffs and NCAA tournament, you might get a weird start time. So excited for the 8 o'clock, prime time kind of start.
Of course, it's a big hockey weekend here in Schenectady with the women's icebreaker coming on. So, 6 hockey games in 2 days here. What's the atmosphere you think is going to be like for just having all this hockey?
I think it's unbelievable to have, the event we're having with the icebreaker being here and, having 4 quality women's programs playing and then our game at night. So great opportunity for the public to get out and watch some, really good women's hockey, and then, hopefully stick around and watch our game at the end of the night.
This will be the last non-conference games before you play RPI in a couple weeks. Will you look at maybe giving Karen Corpy maybe a game off and give it to one of the other 2 goalies in, or is that just too early to speculate?
Yeah, we haven't really, discussed that at all. We like the other guys, but trying to figure out what we have with Cam as well. But excited about all 3 and just their potential.
You stuck with the same lineup in both games against Mercyhurst. Is that going to be maybe what we'll see on Friday night at least?
Well, I don't think that was our intention going into the weekend. I thought we wanted to try to get more guys in, but then the way we played on Friday, we felt like it was a pretty dominant effort, and wanted to reward the guys that played so well on Friday. I didn't think Saturday was as good, so as we start the week, we might alter a few things here this week and kind of see who earns their ice time.
Coach, with that being said, are there any specific kinks you guys are looking to work out this weekend in your final non-conference games before turning to ECAC play?
Yeah, I think like we started to identify that we can, make some plays in the offensive zone, but we, haven't really produced a lot transitionally offensively. So we want to tighten that up and make sure we're supporting and making plays off the rush. So that's been a focal point yesterday and today, and then continuing to establish different ways to find ways to score, and then special teams. I think we want to take a step in our special teams.
The fact that you got a power play goal there Saturday, is that maybe gives guys a little bit of confidence now with the power play?
Yeah, for sure. It gives us a little bit of confidence going into this weekend. Niagara is perfect on the season on the kill, so it'll be a big test for us on facing their penalty kill.
Thanks, Coach.